All right, I'm going to call the April 4th meeting of the Marshfield Select Board to order. Let's begin the meeting. Join me with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to remind everyone that this meeting is being recorded by MCTV. We'll kick off with our Town Administrator report. Mr. Maresco.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A week of March 28th, weekly meeting with PMA and Fred Russo to review any issues on the police project regarding the auxiliary building, exterior walls, parking issues, DPW project including footings and foundation, cyber task force meeting to make sure that the town is prepared and ready for a cyber attack, including our schools and any other public facility in our town. Participated in the Lappin Foundation Zoom meeting with mayors and managers regarding fighting anti-Semitism. Meeting with the DPW regarding them taking back servicing of the town vehicles effective May 1st. Police Building Committee bi-weekly meeting to review and vote on change orders. Weekly police owner, architect, and contractor meeting to review the police project, including the steel delivery for the carports. Meeting with NextGrid regarding DPW project for carports and rooftop photovoltaic units. Participated in a joint Select Board and Advisory Board meeting regarding our annual and special town meeting. Participated with Dan Bastille and Lisa Clark in the Advisory Board meeting to vote on some FY23 budget corrections and updates. Participated in the Levitate Concert Parking meeting with the Police Department as we get ready for their concert this year. Meeting with Fred and Dan Pilata and Council on Aging Director Carol Hamilton regarding some outside painting issues, gutters and downspouts on their project. Monthly finance meeting to review financial matters, ARPA, new employees, bank changes, emergency sewer repairs, abatements, and school issues. Meeting with Select Person Darcy to review some issues regarding town government. Meeting with Cindy Marcoux and Lisa Clark regarding new copier machines for the library patrons and staff. Sent out press release on the Easter egg hunt for the rec department on 4/9. Conference call with Labor Council on personnel issues. Phone discussion with Matt Glazier, who provides the holiday lights at the fairgrounds. Meeting with Daniel Kerrigan, Chief Simpson regarding his annual review. Attended the Trails Committee meeting and thank you event at the Daniel Webster Estate. Sent out COVID-19 press release and some information on the Town Hall Clinic. Handled some personnel issues at the library with Danielle Kerrigan. That's my report.
Thank you, Mr. Maresco. Would you like to move into the vaccination and COVID-19
Yes,
testing?
so as folks know, we're very excited. Tomorrow, we will open the Town Hall Clinic, once again located up on the second floor. We'll be open on Tuesdays and Thursdays by appointment for the second booster shot, for the first booster shot, and for any of the other vaccinations that are necessary to help people fight off COVID-19. We're requesting people do it by appointment. They need to go to marshfieldcares.com, make an appointment. We have over 48 people signed up for tomorrow for shots by appointment. So we're excited to get that next phase going, and we continue to monitor the situation. You know, there's a lot of information out there on the Omicron and also the BA.2, which is another thing that's all over Eastern Europe. So
Right.
We'll have to keep an eye on things, but that's where we are right now.
Great, I appreciate that. So obviously go to the website and sign up if you want a shot. You have anything?
No.
Okay, for questions or comments? All right. So let's, our first appointment's not till 6:40, so let's move to our first action item, which is discussion and vote on renewal of fuel storage registrations. Mr. Maresco,
This is a very standard thing we need to do once a year, Mr. Chairman.
Right.
Board needs to approve any of our establishments that store fuel. It's a state requirement. It needs to be done. We need to update the state by April 30th. So these local businesses are before you to get approval. In order to get approval, they need to submit an application. They need to be current on their taxes and utilities, and they need to have submitted their application and paid the fee.
great. So I'm going to read these businesses into the record, and then we can discuss it if we need to. So these are for fuel storage license renewal. These are the businesses that currently hold fuel storage licenses. Annual registration of these licenses needs to be filed with the state by April 30th, 2022. These are Shoreline Aviation, Inc. They're doing DBA Marshfield Municipal Airport, Quirk Cars, Inc., Quirk Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Quirk Cars, Inc., Quirk Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, that's their other location, at 955 Plain Street, GA Williams and Sons, Inc., Williams Coal and Oil Company, Rope Marine LLC, which is Rope Marine, Speedway LLC, which is Speedway number 2470, AL Prime Energy Consultants, Inc., which is Prime Gasoline, Colbia Enterprise LLC, which is the Shell, Ocean Street Auto Repair and Service, Inc., which is Ocean Street Auto Repair and Services, Marshfield Country Club, EM Realty Trust, Public Petroleum, Rand Handy Oil Company, Inc., which is Rand Handy Oil Company, McDougal Brothers Enterprises, LLC, which is the McDougal Brothers, Ocean Bluff Automotive, Turnpike Auto Service Center, Cedarview Filling Station, Brewer Green Harbor Marina, and John W. Taylor, which is Taylor Marina. So I don't have, this is pretty standard, I have no questions.
No questions.
No questions.
Okay, so the board moves to approve those businesses I just read into the record that currently hold fuel storage licenses pending their application being completed and submitted, filing fee being paid, and all taxes and utility fees being paid.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do you want to do number 4 for Billy, the beach hires?
Oh, yeah, Billy's here for the beach hires. I thought you were just here to look pretty in your uniform.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Lieutenant. Okay, so number 4, thank you, Mr. Darcy. Number 4, discussion and vote on seasonal beach hires. Do you want me to read all the beach hires, or do you want to say something, or?
Yeah, just a few words if I could. So it's that time of year, we're very excited to bring back our returning employees from last year.
Yep.
We're very excited about our new crop of potential hires, and with you guys' blessing, we'll be able to have them on and aboard to give citizens of Marshfield all the services they need for the beach this summer in 2022.
Perfect. Yep, it's great to see some of the returning people and also some new names on here. A lot of local young people. It's great. It's a great gig, and I think it's kind of fun for them, and it's great to have their service. So,
Completely agree.
yeah, awesome. So, let me read the names of all these employees. It's James. So I guess I should just go ahead and make a motion, and I'll read them. Yeah, make it easier than reading them twice. So it's a lot. Yeah. So, any questions, concerns?
No.
No, the only comment I said, I want to say, I really love the little background information you gave on each person.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of insightful, so.
It's good to paint the picture. I mean,
Yeah.
you guys are the ones making the decisions. So
Yeah, I
wanna
could tell
give
that
all
you
the
spoke to them
information.
all, and you
Yeah.
get a little highlight, so I like that, thank you.
Yeah, you're the Bob Ross of beach hires.
I love it.
Awesome. All right, so the board moves to approve the hiring of following new seasonal employees. This would be James Murphy, Dylan Tremfaglia, Andrew Braithwaite, Jay Vigilante, Liam Connolly, Harry Connolly, Shannon Flaherty, Lauren Buckley, Megan Connolly, Brian Griffin, James Emery, Michael Hurley, Kara Leahy, Joseph Corbo, and Susan Sloan. So that's, and then the board will also move to rehire the following lifeguards, parking, snack bar, and work crew. And this would be, for lifeguards would be Mitch Davis, Connor Merrick, Amanda Dustin, Liam Healy, Mackenzie Murphy, Brendan Fennerin, Daniel Stack, Michael Walsh, Tyler Slate, Charlie Simpson, Marianne O'Donnell, Ashley Brennan, Riley McNeely, Dylan Ward, Amanda White, Nicole Murphy, David Kaminsky, Emma Connolly, Kylie Norellis, and Anthony Melander. And then for the parking snack bar work crew, this would be Jake Murphy, Michael Marini, Jenny Brown, Thomas Burgoyne, Megan Clarity, Nathan Zimmer, Kristen Gonzalez, Shaban Keene, Howard Studley, Norman McLivery, Caitlin Kalfeisch. They're getting me. Finally, they're going to get me. I was doing great. sorry about that. Elias Horn, Rachel Murphy, Maria Ramos, Josie Flavius, Brendan White, Gabriela Silvera, Jeremy Curto, and Patrick McManus.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, LT. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
All right, so it's 6:40, so we'll move to our first appointment, which is the Roach Brothers application for change of manager from Paul Gahn to Lawrence Baxter. Is anyone here to represent? Come on up. How are you doing today, sir? What's your name?
It's Lawrence Baxter.
Lawrence Baxter. Great. And do I need to read this public? I need to
Yes,
read
if
this,
you
correct?
could,
Yeah.
yes, you
In
could,
the
Mr.
record?
Chair, yes.
So the Board of Selectmen, this was to Mr. James Serber Esquire, which is RBSW Inc., 11 Hampshire Street, Mansfield, Mass. Mr. Sperber, the Board of Selectmen hereby serves your notice of its intention to hold a public hearing under the provision Mass General Law, Chapter 138, for the purpose of determining whether the petition for change of manager from Paul Gahn to Lawrence Baxter at Roach Brothers Supermarket, 605 Plain Street, Marshfield, Massachusetts, 02050, meets the approval of the local licensing board. You should be further advised that the public hearing will be held on Monday, April 4th, 2022, at 6:40 p.m. in the Selectmen's Hearing Room on the second floor of the Marshfield Town Hall, located at 870 Moraine Street, Marshfield, Mass. 02050. Please confirm that Lawrence Baxter will be present at this hearing and contact my office if you have any further questions or concerns. Sincerely, Michael A. Moresco, Town Administrator. So, you are here. Would you like to say anything, or?
I've worked for Roach Brothers for just over 38 years. I've been in probably 5 of the stores with liquor licenses. I was in Boston for 5 years, which has beer, wine, and spirits. I am tip certified.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, everything looks like it's in place, and I think you'll do a great job. I have no other questions. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, Lawrence, is your commute getting better or worse?
Worse.
Worse. Sorry to hear that.
That's
Oh,
all
man,
right.
bummer.
I like it down here. It's nice.
Yeah. Where do you live?
I live in Easton.
Oh, well, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
It's not great, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Kokol.
No, the only question, this is not your first time managing a store, right?
No, it's not.
No, I see like 2003 present store manager.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
38 years, that's an impressive career.
Yeah, thank you.
Roach is a
It's a
great
great store.
opera-
I like going there.
Great operation with
Yeah.
brothers and Roach
Right.
Brothers, so I
Sure.
love shopping there and
Well, thank you.
love that they're in our town, so.
Good luck with your new position.
Thanks very much.
Cool, so we'll just, the board moves to approve the change of manager for Roach Brothers Supermarket located at 605 Plain Street, Marshfield, Mass. from Paul Gahn to Lawrence Baxter.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Good luck, we'll see you at the store.
Congratulations with
Excellent.
your new
Thanks very much.
position.
Thanks.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Thank you.
See you at the store.
All right.
All right, we have a few minutes before our next appointment. So the next would be discussion and vote on commercial parking permit, Green Harbor Lobster Pound. So that's let me get to it. So, Green Lobster Pound has applied for license renewal, and paid their fee, I believe. And,
That is correct.
looks like everything's in order, so, I mean, they're a great local business, I have no questions.
No questions.
No questions?
All right, so, the board moves to approve the commercial parking permit for the Green Harbor Lobster Pound located at 131 Beach Street with Paul J. Philpott, manager of record for 46 parking spaces at $24 per space pending all taxes. Utilities and fees owed to the town have been paid in full, and they have, so that's my motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Next is discussion and vote on request for permission to accept donation of dog kennels for animal shelter. Mr. Moresco, do you have some background on this?
Yes, I do. So, the Friends of the Marshfield Animal Shelter are donating $13,708 worth of merchandise. They're purchasing 5 dog kennels, kennel dividers, kennel roof panels, and rotating dog bowl feeders. So we thank them very much for those improvements.
Yeah, that's an amazing donation, and I'm sure it's sorely needed over there. I mean, there's always need at the dog at the kennel, so
Definitely.
that's excellent. Anything?
No questions.
Great. All right, so, yeah, thanks again for the donation. The board moves to accept a donation on behalf of the Marshfield Animal Shelter from the Friends of Marshfield Animal Shelter in the amount of $13,708 for 5 dog kennels, kennel dividers, kennel roof panels, and rotating dog bowl feeders.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, just make a quick comment on this?
Sure.
So they usually have, I think it is at the Daniel Webster, right around Christmas time. They
This
do.
year it'll be October 15th.
Okay,
Oh, I
this
didn't
year it's
see you
gonna,
back
it's usually
there.
Christmas
Sorry,
time, this year it's gonna be in
Did you have anything to
October.
say?
I'm sorry?
Did you have anything to say?
No, that's okay.
You sure? Okay. Sorry, I didn't see.
So what I was just gonna say is they usually have a great fundraiser, typically at Daniel Webster. This year it's gonna be October
October 15th.
15th. I would like to encourage and invite everyone to come down. It's a great event and donate. They do great work and it's a great cause.
Thank you. Sorry.
Absolutely. Thanks, Vicki. I appreciate you being here. Okay, we can do one more thing. Discussion and vote on request for permission to waive building permit fees, relocation of vaccine clinic sheds. Mr. Maresco?
So this is, the town, like any of our citizens, has to follow the rules. We're putting sheds. Sheds are always a big issue. They have to be located 10 feet from all property lines and buildings, so we have to go through a building permit. We had 3 sheds that we've been using at the clinic. We repurposed them. As folks know, we have one here that's in the parking lot that serves as our testing center for all of the town employees, including schools who exhibit COVID-19. They can come here and get free testing. One of the other sheds we use down at the Wrexham parking lot for a shelter and for folks to have an office down there and store some stuff. And then the third one's going to be located at the fire headquarters on South River Street. So they've applied for their permit, they're getting their permit, and there's normally a customary fee, but we don't charge town agencies. So Board of Selectmen is the executive branch with the authority to waive the fee.
Right, yes, we are. So, I think it's great reuse of that, repurposing of that equipment. I have no questions.
No questions.
No questions, no comments.
Okay, so the board moves to waive the building permit fees for the 3 sheds that will be relocated to Town Hall parking lot, Wrexham Beach, and the fire headquarters.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
A couple more minutes, so I'm going to skip 6 because I know that's going to be a little bit of a discussion. Come back to 6. Let's go to 7, discussion and vote on application for annual peddler's license with Lolly Jolly Waffles LLC.
It's sort of the same thing as 6 though, Mr. Chairman, isn't it? That's sort of the same thing as number 6 though, Mr. Chairman.
It is, but I believe there's going to be
All right.
a little more discussion on number 6 than 7.
No problem.
Which is why
You're the chair.
Yeah, and we only have a couple minutes, so. I don't know, is anyone here from Lolly Jolly? Probably not. Sounds like a pretty awesome food truck. Looks like Nina Fornes is the owner and has applied. And they're planning on, if we, approved 6, they plan on having a license, applying for the annual license for the event that's being proposed at South Shore Buds and other events within the town. So it's an annual teller's license. I believe,
That is correct, Mr. Chairman.
everything's
It
in
would
order,
be-
except we need Board of Health approval, and that's
That's
it,
correct.
right? So, sounds good. I don't have any questions.
No questions.
Questions?
No questions, comment?
Sure.
So I'm holding, I don't mind voting on this, Mr. Chairman, prior to number 6, because it's moot if you don't approve 6.
Well, except for that she's planning, it's her annual peddlers, so she can be at multiple.
Oh, it's for her whole annual license?
Yeah.
Then I have no problems.
Yeah,
Thank you,
she's
Mr. Chairman.
specifically
I missed
pointing
that.
that. No,
That's
no,
my
I know,
fault.
that's cool. She just.
That was just for this
It caught
event.
me off guard too, because I saw that, but
It's
then
her
I saw,
annual.
yeah.
Gotcha.
So that's why I wanted to jump on that.
Thank you.
so.
No questions, no comments further.
Okay, cool. So the board moves to approve an annual peddler's license for Lolly Jolly Waffles LLC, which is Nina Furness. It's a food truck business for an event at South Shore Buds, if it is approved, on April 23rd, 2022, from 10 to 5, and other events with permission of event organizers in town pending Board of Health approval.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, so now I've got 6:50. We'll move to our next appointment, which is dangerous dog hearing, Brown and Cookson. Right, let me get to that. So I believe we bring all the parties up, right?
That's correct.
So,
We can, yep.
so is Ms. Brown and Mr. Cookson here? Do you like to join us at the front? And representatives of our Marshfield Police Department and our attorney, Bob Galvin, is here as well. Animal Control, our chief's here. Okay, so this is a public hearing before our board, the Select Board, for a dangerous dog pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 140, Section 157. This was hand-delivered and first-class mail to Miss Dina Brown, who is here, and Mr. Daniel Cookson, who is also here. Miss Dina Brown lives in the village at Marshfield, and Mr. Daniel Cookson lives on Neptune Road. Dear Mrs. Brown and Mr. Cookson, please be advised that in accordance with the provision of Mass General Law, Chapter 140, Section 157, the Town of Marshfield Select Board, in their capacity as the hearing authority for the Town of Marshfield, will conduct a public hearing on Monday, April 4th, 2022, at 6:50 p.m. in the Select Board's meeting room located at 870 Moraine Street, second floor, Marshfield, Massachusetts, on a report complaint received by the Select Board from the Marshfield Police Department and Animal Control Officer that your dog, Chelsea, a 4-year brown mixed pit bull breed, a dog that is owned or kept by you on the premises at the Village at Marshfield, Unit 8, Fox Run Apartments in Marshfield, Massachusetts, constitutes a dangerous dog by reason of vicious disposition and/or as a result of several incidents dating back to January 3rd, 2021, presents an unacceptably high risk of serious injury even before causing harm. You are advised of your right to attend the hearing, speak on your own behalf or through your legal representative, and present any witnesses or evidence in support of your position in this matter. If you fail to attend this public hearing, which you haven't, the Select Board reserves the right to proceed in your absence, making a determination in this matter and proceed with such other restrictions or other measures necessary to prevent any further risk of injury. If you have any questions about this procedure, you are directed to speak with Marshfield Town Administrator Michael Moresco. Very truly yours, Christopher Boland, Chairman, Marshfield Select Board. Copy Philip H. Tavares, Chief of Police, and the Marshfield Animal Control Officer. So who, let me grab that. Where is the, Mr. Galvin, how would you like us to proceed?
So, do you need a copy of the,
I have it, I thought I had it. And you showed, oh wait, it got stuck. Wait, yeah, here, I got it.
yeah, so I think, Mr. Rowland, you should proceed just explaining the process now
Right.
in more detail. You've already read the public hearing notice.
Yes,
And I think you just proceed to explain the preliminary matters.
Okay.
Before the hearing starts, though, I'll administer an oath because this is supposed to be under oath. So any witness that'll be testifying will raise their hand and I'll administer an oath.
okay,
So I think where you want to proceed is on the first page of the process and options.
yeah,
Fourth bullet down, beginning with Chair of SB explains. So I
right,
think that's
so.
where you want to start right there.
So this is not a trial. I'm going to explain this. This is not a trial, and the rules of evidence will not necessarily apply. And the right to question any witness will be at the discretion of myself as the chair of the Select Board and must be through me. So you need to address me, not address anybody directly. This is a case where the Select Board will be determining whether your dog named Chelsea, which is the subject of the complaint by the town's animal control officer, ACO, is a dangerous dog under Mass General Law, Chapter 140, Section 136, and 157. Mass General Law, Chapter 140, Sections 136 defines as a dangerous dog as a dog that either, without justification, attacks a person or domestic animal causing physical injury or death, or behaves in a manner that a reasonable person would believe poses an unjustified imminent threat or physical injury or death to a person or to a domestic or owned animal. A dangerous dog is also one that is accustomed to attack and injure mankind, and or a dog possesses a general propensity to be vicious to others, This was based on Durbin versus Board of Selectmen of Kingston, which is 62 Mass. App CT 1/12/13, 2004.
Mr. Rowland,
Yes.
skip the next section, because that's just more for the board's notice.
Okay.
Skip right down to where it begins complainant, chief and ACO.
Right, so now the next will be the chief and the animal control officer presents case as to why the dog is dangerous within the meaning of the law. And then any person who has evidence that supports the finding of dangerousness is asked to speak. And then we will give you a chance as respondents, or if you have counsel are asked if they wish, then we'll ask you to respond to the complaint, and then you can offer witnesses or documentary evidence to the contrary, and then the hearing is closed for public, and board will then, as our board, we will then deliberate. So we will go that way, so.
So why don't I begin by swearing the witnesses, and then you can hear from the animal control.
Perfect.
All right?
Let's do
So
that.
will everybody that's testifying, please raise your right hand? You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, all the witnesses are sworn, Mr. Rowland.
Okay, so we'll move forward with our police, with Griffin and
Perfect. I appreciate you guys having me. Thank you for your time.
Sure.
And I'm sorry that we have to go through all this. So I think the easiest way to do this is the way that your packet's put together, just so everyone has an understanding of what's in front of them. This beginning part's just a timeline of the incidents, which kind of goes through basically everything that's happened and why we're here today. And then you'll see some other attachments to it, which I will explain as I talk and kind of go through what each one means. And then if you go back a little bit farther in the booklet, you'll see a little tab that says dog bite incidents. Those are all the reports of actual dog bite incidents that have occurred. So I won't necessarily read word for word all those, but I can go back and refer to those if you guys need me to. And then the last section is just other incidents, which is, again, all related to the dog. Other incidents that we've responded to, which, again, I can go back to and refer to those as needed. So for the timeline, I'll start with basically the Marshfield Animal Control Division has documented and responded numerous incidents involving Dina Brown and Daniel Cookson's dog, Chelsea. Chelsea is known to be a 4-year-old brown mixed breed spayed female dog. She's currently licensed and in possession of Dina Brown and Daniel Cookson, dog license number 2021-0405. Chelsea's responsible for 3 bites to a human, 3 bites to another animal, and for a broken arm of a human. In addition, we've received several other reports of dog bite incidents from family members too. And then to kind of just go through this, and if you guys have any questions, just let me know while I go through. On January 3rd, 2021, Animal Control was called to assist the police department with a disturbance call at the village of Marshfield, Building 8, Apartment 8. Chelsea had bitten Miss Brown on the arm, causing an inch gash during the argument. EMS responded to the scene and treated the wound. I can refer to that call. On January 4th, 2021, Chelsea was placed on quarantine at the Village Apartments, Building 8, Apartment 8, due to the above bite. Upon our ACO arrival, Cookson refused to open the door to speak with us and stated he would be taking the dog to Florida within a week. Cookson was advised that the dog cannot be moved while under quarantine. January 5th, the animal control officer followed up to ensure the dog was still under quarantine and was unable to locate the dog or Cookson or Dina. And the State Division of Animal Health was notified of the violation of the order of quarantine, and the animal control officer issued a citation to Cookson for an unlicensed dog. On January 6, 2021, Animal Control received a letter of violation from the Division of Animal Health to be issued to Cookson. I attempted to issue this letter and could not locate Cookson. The letter was delivered under the door of the Village Apartments, Building 8, Apartment 8. On January 14th, 2021, Marshfield Police located Cookson, and Cookson called the Animal Control officer to have his dog released from quarantine, and which it was. On June 12th, 2021, Marshfield Police received a call from a Nancy Murphy of Building 19 at the Village in Marshfield, Apartment 10, stating that her dog Happy was attacked by a dog. The biting dog was identified to be Chelsea. Brown's roommate, Dina Brown's roommate, Bloomfield, stated that he was out walking Chelsea and that she had gotten out of her collar and had bitten Happy. Happy did go to Marshfield Animal Hospital for treatment for various puncture wounds, and Happy's medical records indicate the punctures were clipped and clean. Happy also, during this bite, received Clavidox, Rimadol, codeine, as well as chlorhexidine gauze scrubs to clean the wound. and that was call number 215389. This is the picture of,
I believe we have that.
you guys should have it in front of you too,
Yeah,
just
we have
for the
that.
people that don't have it.
Oh, sure.
This will be. Where am I? There we go. This is just for the people behind me that can't see. This is the bite incident right here for this call. On to the next. On June 14th, 2021, I placed Chelsea under a 10-day quarantine for this above referenced bite. On June 15th, I made contact with Happy's owner, who stated that her dog was bitten on the neck and that she has several vet bills. Obviously, again, referring to this. On July 7th, 2021, Marshfield Police received a complaint call unrelated to the dog. When officers arrived, Dina's mother, Anna, stated she didn't want to open the door because of the dog. This is just important to note. It doesn't really have anything to do with the dog right now. On October 25th, 2021, Marshfield Police received a call reporting a loose pit bull behind Building 19 at the Village Apartments. Officers responded and found the dog. Dina Brown and her boyfriend Miguel at the time had come out to retrieve the dog. Brown stated they went to the store and believed the dog had opened the door to the apartment. On October 26, 2021, Animal Control received a message from Christina Murphy reporting that she witnessed Chelsea loose on 10/25/21. Murphy further reported the dog had no leash or person with her. Animal Control officer followed with Brown, who admitted that the dog did get loose and that Chelsea can open her apartment door. On November 10th, 2021, Animal Control was called to assist the police with a well-being check. Dina Brown's mother, Anna DePaula, was at the residence and could not secure the dog. ACO was asked by DePaula to take the dog until Brown could be located, in which the dog was taken and brought to the animal shelter. On November 22nd, 2021, Marshfield Police received a call from an Anthony Lavorse of the Village Apartments, reporting that he was just attacked by a dog, and his dog was also attacked by a dog. ACO responded and found that Lavorse was bitten on his left hand, his thumb, and his middle finger. Lavorse was treated on scene by medics. Lavorse dog Cirrus, not sure what the pronunciation is, was also bitten and brought to the veterinary urgent care in Plymouth. These are the pictures you guys should have in front of you too for this dog incident, just so everyone can kind of see. Go through, there was multiple puncture wounds. Those are those. The biting dog was missing on arrival. Based on Lavorse's description on the dog that was given to us and the past dealings that I've had with Chelsea, I was able to identify the biting dog as Chelsea. ACO then located Chelsea with DePaula in Building 1, the Village Apartments. DePaula stated the dog broke her arm during the incident, and upon my arrival was screaming and crying uncontrollably in pain. She stated multiple times in the matter of me being there that her arm was hanging off and that she was in extreme pain. I called for the fire department to evaluate. Dog was ordered on a 10-day quarantine at the animal shelter. On December 2nd, 2021, the Village at Marshfield attorney had a letter served to Dina Brown stating that the dog must be removed from the premises immediately upon receipt of the letter and that must also be muzzled at all times while outside of the apartment. That letter is also in this pile that you guys have. It's located. I'll pull it up for you. It's pretty much right in towards the end of it. It's like the last 5 pages. It looks like this. Should have that from the Village.
Right here.
Nope. Oh, wrong page. No. On February 15th, 2022, Marshfield Police received.
I think
you
just in a second.
Oh, you're correct, yep. So the Village of Marshfield attorney had the letter served to Brown stating the dog must be removed. December 3rd, 2021, Chelsea was released from quarantine and Brown took custody of Chelsea at that time. February 15th, 2022, Marshfield Police received a medical call. Officers responded and discovered the medical was actually in relation to a dog bite. That was not the info that was given to us to begin with. Officer Bruno reported that he observed several dog bites on Miss Brown. ACO was unable to respond at this time, and so the dog was secured in Dina's apartment for the night. the village management had to come out for officers to lock the door because there was no one able to secure the door at this time. This is the picture from that incident you guys should all have in front of you as well of that bite. And you can obviously see that there's multiple bites as well. On February 16th, 2022, Animal Control followed up at Brown's apartment. Nobody appeared to be in the apartment and the door was unlocked. This is the day after the incident had occurred, the morning after. Chelsea was barking and jumping up on the door. Animal Control called for another officer to respond because I was unable to secure the apartment. When I arrived, one of the doors was unlocked, so the dog, as we know, can escape this apartment. So ACO, in an effort to protect the public from the dog, as well as to ensure the dog was being cared for, removed the dog from the apartment. Subsequently, officers found Cookson in Brown's apartment in need of medical attention unrelated to the dog. Chelsea was placed on a 10-day quarantine at the animal shelter. On March 1st, 2022, Animal Control received a call from Dina Brown's aunt, Kathy Bent, reporting that Chelsea has been abused by her owners and that the dog has bitten Brown several times as well as guests, unreported bites. Bent has stated that she's witnessed the dog being abused. She has also sent an email in regards to what she has seen, which is also attached to this, you guys should have. Bent reports Chelsea has bitten Brown at her house, which is not a report we have, so that's another report. Bent further states the dog has also bitten Brown many times in Florida. It's known that Dina and Dan travel to Florida frequently, but I do not have any documented bites from Florida. Ben stated Brown has left the dog without food for days in the apartment. On March 3rd, 2022, Animal Control arrived at the shelter in the morning for his shift. When I entered the shelter to check on Chelsea, her cage was found in total disarray. Chelsea had ripped down the rope that is attached to her dog door and completely destroyed it. Chelsea has also bitten pieces of wood off of the dog door. When I went to remove Chelsea to a new cage, I had to use a catch pole, and Chelsea very aggressively attacked the catch pole multiple times, making it hard to get the catch pole on and off of her. March 9th, 2022, ACO Webb, along with Officer Coolidge, was able to serve Dina Brown in hand with the dangerous dog hearing paperwork. Dina advised us at this time that Dan Cookson was being held at Plymouth County Sheriff's Department. On March 10th, the letter was served at that time to Dina. On March 10th, Dan Cookson was served with the dangerous dog hearing paperwork. And on March 30th, 2022, ACO reached out to the Animal Rescue League of Dedham to request records related to Chelsea after finding a rabies vaccine certificate that was previously issued by them. When we did reach out to them, the Animal Rescue League reported to us that Chelsea was with them for about a month, from 3/11/2020 to 4/8/2020. Notes were taken by the Animal Rescue League staff of Chelsea's behavior while she was there, which is also in this report as well. Quite a long report. It's important to note that Chelsea was on trazodone while she was at the Animal Rescue League, which obviously is known to calm her down. You can refer to that full write-up as well. That is the full timeline. And then also attached to it as well is a letter from Tracy Britt, the certified master dog trainer, evaluating this dog while she was under the care at the animal shelter. You guys can feel free to read that. I won't read the whole thing. So that's attached as well.
I've read it.
Her dog license is attached. Over the course of the dog being at the animal shelter, our records indicate that we are owed a total of $740 for the care of Chelsea while she's been under our care. That's not including the time she was on quarantine. And that, I think, concludes what I have for the initial portion of this.
Okay. Mr. Sullivan, Lieutenant Sullivan, do you have anything to add?
I have nothing to add.
Okay. Is there, at this point,
Mr. Rowland, you could have the board could ask any questions of the ACO or Lieutenant Sullivan.
okay. I mean, one question I have is, I mean, it seems like there was a lot of incidents here. Why is this the first time it's coming to us?
So the first few incidents, we have given them recommendations on things that we think that they should fix. And before, I think obviously it hasn't gotten to this point, but over time with the actual dog bites, and you can kind of tell from the way that the pictures are, the bites have very much so progressed. We deal with dog bites every day in Marshfield, almost every day in Marshfield. It's something very normal that my department responds to. Normally the bites stay pretty simple, but as you can see, the bites started to escalate very much so, especially with this one, which is obviously why we brought it to you guys' attention.
I mean, that's definitely serious trauma right there.
Absolutely.
So, I don't have more questions for them to use.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So Griffin, so I know we have this info in our packets, but just for folks who might be tuning in, how many times have you been called to the property for Chelsea?
Total with police and ACO, it's been over 50 times.
Excuse me, how many?
Over 50, police and animal control. And then just based off of this, just what I presented to you, there's at least, I know for a fact there's at least 20 incidents that I just listed off to you guys from my timeline.
And is it fair to say that you guys have tried containment and mitigation issues before this hearing?
We've exhausted all of our resources when it comes to this dog. We've given recommendations. We've attempted to work with the owners. We've released the dog to them multiple times and have not seen any improvement whatsoever.
Sure. And, you know, in the times that you've responded, do you have a sense of how the neighbors in the community feel?
They are not comfortable with the dog there whatsoever. Everyone in that building, for the most part, and I won't speak on behalf of everyone, but from just when I arrive, I can tell you guys, I get clapped. When we leave, we get clapped for because people are excited that the dog's leaving. Nobody wants the dog there, and every time I get there, I have another person come up to me and say that they're very concerned about the dog being there. Very, very concerned.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'd like to just add too, if I could, to answer Mr. Rowland's question too. And we like to be, obviously we like to be progressive with these types of things. We have obviously feel for the dog, we feel for the residents. We try and give them options to remedy this, and we give them multiple chances. To answer your question as to why this is the first time it's here, we like to give people the benefit of the doubt. And this is obviously how it ends if they don't.
Yeah, I mean, the main reason I ask is that I think, again, if this may have come before us earlier, we may have avoided in some injury, some of the more serious injuries later.
I have another thing to add to when you guys.
Sure.
So another big part of this and why there was a few things in here that maybe didn't make sense right off the bat. Basically, we've dealt with them multiple times. I've responded here, like I just said, well over 20 times. I know probably it's well over 40 times with the amount of times that I've been here. I've issued orders of quarantines, and they've been completely disregarded. They don't listen to any of the instructions that are given to them. We've given them legal orders, and I've had to have the actual State Department of Animal Health kind of take over situations because they do not follow my instructions or the state's instructions on what's required. I do have letters that I've also included in here as well from the state that basically show that Mr. Cookson did in fact violate the quarantine order and did not comply with what we had asked of him, and therefore was cited for it. So it's very clear in here as well that we have a long history of both Dina and Daniel not complying with what we ask and working with us on the things that we want done. And I think that's a big thing that we need to keep in mind with this case, is obviously that we've been lied to in the past by these two individuals multiple times, and it's documented right in these reports.
Okay, great, thanks. Mr. Kilcoyne, do you have any questions for?
Yeah, just a quick one if I may. So I do agree with education and progression of enforcement. I think that's a good way of approaching law enforcement in general. So maybe you could help me here. So it says December 2nd, 2021, the Village of Marshfield attorney sent a letter stating the dogs must be removed from the premises immediately.
Yep.
That was December 2nd, 2021. So was the dog removed from the premises and not come back?
No, the dog's gone back there every single time. So the dog currently is at the animal shelter right now. But since this incident, I can confirm that the dog didn't get removed from the property. It's always gone back there.
And you said also that during at least one period of quarantine, the quarantine wasn't respected?
Correct. Yep. We had, it was actually the one when I was talking about Mr. Cookson saying that the dog was going to go to Florida. I issued that quarantine and made it very clear to him that the dog cannot leave that apartment. And the next day when I went to confirm that the dog was there, the dog was not there, and it's still unknown whether or not that dog went to Florida or not. But it was reported to the state that the dog was nowhere for us to be found, and I didn't end up seeing that dog. I can find the exact date in here, but it was after the quarantine was complete when I finally was able to make eye contact with the dog.
I'm certainly not a professional like you are on animals, the two of you. But my understanding of experience in life is that, basically there's no such thing as a bad dog in general. Dogs are kind of personalities are created. I understand there's always outliers to that. But it seems like there's some complicitory reasons why this dog is acting out. And when I read the report from Tracy Britt, is it, Certified Master Dog Trainer?
Yep.
She was very straightforward. She seems extremely professional in how she writes things up in her evaluation. She brought it to my attention that once this starts, this progression, it tends to not stop and it intensifies.
Absolutely, that's known to be true.
Would you say that is correct?
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Mr. Rowland, in the event that the respondents want to ask any questions through you, they can ask those questions. You could invite that before you
Okay.
move on to hear from them.
Would you like to ask any questions of the Animal Control Officer, Lieutenant Sullivan?
No, do we just get a chance to speak?
Yeah, just
Okay.
a second. And we should also need to note, is there any person who has other evidence to support a finding of dangerousness beyond these two? Is there anyone here beyond them that has any evidence? Dangerousness, okay. So now, you are, if you wish to respond to the complaint, and you can offer any witnesses or documentary evidence against, on the other side of this point.
Can I speak first, then him?
Sure.
Okay, so, we are drug addicts. That's where most of, the bad behavior has come.
This past year, basically.
We fell into the category of an addict. We've gotten help. We have documentation from both, we're in Superior Court, and we have documentation how well we've been doing. I'm in treatment every single day. I'm on the methadone clinic. I go every single day. I go to therapy and everything, and I think the dog never bit me in Florida. That
Yeah, we
never
had it
happened.
for, this May will be 5 years, and we lived in Florida for almost 4 years. There was never an incident, and I think when we came up here, our life kind of spiraled out of control, and our behavior affects her behavior, of course. So it's not like we're neglecting and never anything like that. We have the dog for almost 5 years now. So I don't think it's a thing of neglect. I think it's just us being an active addiction, just, you know what I mean, living that life. And since then, like I said, she's in a program. I got a full-time job now. I'm going to work every day. So I think living a normal life for us lives a normal life for her. Like I said, in Florida, we've had her, we
adopted
rescued her at 8 weeks down there and had her till then. She definitely won't be going back to that apartment. I'm currently staying at my mom's house. It's a little bit more residential. It's got a fence. The neighbor has a dog too. It's more inclined for her. She needs to get out and go, and I wasn't giving her what she needed. So I think the anxiety, just for example, if somebody knocks on the door, she would spiral out of control because of my behavior, not responding to her and doing what she needed to do. So
And every police incident we've had multiple police incidents of overdoses between us, and we've gotten that under control, and that's where most of the dog's been taken from us because
it's all in the past year since our addiction's been going.
She's
I've been in
never
and out
had-
of jail multiple times.
my mother was the one that broke her arm when she was walking the dog. My mom dropped the leash. My mom.
She was the only one to care for the dog when we were both away. We got charged with the case. We went away for a month. She was the only one there caring for the dog at the time.
She dropped the leash, and my dog took off, and my mom fell when she dropped the leash. She actually just had surgery.
That's kind of on us, so obviously.
But the dog, ever since she's been in our own care, nothing's ever bad has happened with, when we walk her or anything like that. We've never dropped the leash or anything like that. The roommate that was with us, we were away for a weekend, and that was when the first incident. The incident with my mother, those are the only incidents. And then the incident with my arm biting, this last incident, the last picture that you've seen, I had overdosed, and I had woken up to my dog biting my arm to wake me up. It would have been me, my ex-boyfriend, and one of our neighbors. We were all getting high together, and I was the only one that woke up because the dog had bitten my arm to wake me up. And if not, I would have been dead, he would have been dead, and so would have the third party have been dead. I have documents from Plymouth High Point outpatient stating, if you want me to read them to you.
It's just through the court,
And through the court, we had drug testing. Every other day we get drug tested. We were drug tested. I was drug tested today, and we've all had both have had negative drug results.
Okay.
And we intend to keep working the program, and losing Chelsea would probably hurt our addiction.
Yeah, definitely. She's a part of our family,
Yeah.
And she was on trazodone, and taking her off trazodone, honestly, I think that's another problem too. Taking her off trazodone, she doesn't have the proper medication like she had before.
I think we'd be more inclined now to like give her what she needs, you know what I mean, to kind of maybe behavioral, whatever the case
Put her
may
in
be.
behavioral classes and
But
everything.
I think that, you know, with us doing the right thing, and it's not really an option for me because, you know, I'm facing a lot of time if I don't do what I got to do on probation. So
Sure.
I think it will help her and us, you know. I
Okay.
think by losing her kind of, I don't know.
It would hurt us. We've had her since she was
Yeah.
8 weeks old.
Okay. Do you have any other,
Do you want to see the letters that were, they're just brief.
from?
It's
what-
from
Just
like
from
the
the
court
court.
that we drug test.
That we've been
and-
drug
But I think
tested.
you get the idea.
Okay.
You on that. I mean, and, you know, I understand, to me, you know, congratulations on
Thank you.
recognizing your addiction and doing something about it, because many people don't.
Yeah.
Right.
The result, the consequence to that, you just said it, right?
That
There's no
affects
way
everything.
out but death, right? At a
Yeah.
certain point.
It affected our dog's life
Yeah, it
too.
did,
Yeah.
definitely.
And we
So-
didn't see that.
But in this situation, you know, this is a tough situation. It's very tough. Because although your addiction probably did affect the dog has gotten to the point where we have over 50 calls and multiple people injured. You know, it's a very difficult situation because you getting help is great. You guys got to take care of yourselves, right? But it's very difficult to say that your addiction and your recovery has much to do with whether that dog is going to be able to be rehabilitated. I mean, it's based. I can tell you this because I do know Tracy Britt personally, and Mr. Darcy can also. I don't know if Mr. Kilcoyne knows her very well, but she is probably one of the foremost dog trainers. I mean, she's a former canine state police, one of the best trainers on the planet that I've ever seen, and I've seen her train many, many difficult dogs, and her testimony here says basically that she doesn't believe that she can guarantee, even with the most possible amount of training, that Chelsea can be rehabilitated, and that's
Yeah, but that's just her opinion. That you can't really. That's hearsay,
It's a
though.
major concern.
Definitely a major concern, but I think that you know, given the chance, I think we could get on the right path and do what we needed to do. I know you guys don't know what it's like to be in addiction, but you know, it's not easy. You know, so even little things like the companionship, whatever, it helps. It helps me, anyways. I know because I get bored. I'm like, you know, she's our family. You can't, you know.
I do understand that. So, any other evidence or anything else you'd like to talk about, say? Okay.
Now you guys seem like you've already made your decision.
We're listening, you know. We're always here to listen. So I'm going to, would you like to ask any questions or?
Just one question. So, you know, definitely appreciate your candor because it's not easy to talk about what you guys have been through. So we appreciate you guys being so open in a public setting. I guess the question I have for you guys is, in your mind, like, what do you see as the path forward with Chelsea's behavior to assure the safety of others?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the apartment complex. There's got to be, you know, there's 1, 2, 4, 8. There's 12 units in each building. So you have multiple different dogs, never seeing each other the same day. Like my mom's house is like it's residential. It's a dirt road. I think Officer Webb knows where it is. He's been there before. There's a fenced-in area in the back.
It's a dog house.
I think between my mom and dad, they're retired, so I think between me going to work in the day, my dad will, of course, bring the dog out for a walk, whatever. He'll give her, like, there's a beach right there, bring her down the beach. You know, it's not as many people and children there.
And they're very close to the dog too.
It's
they
more-
are able to care for her as well. Unlike my mother who can't
Yeah.
walk my dog.
I think being out of that setting and giving her a nice chance to run, she'd go in the backyard and run all day, and then come bring her up and let her in, so.
And there's
I
nowhere
think-
for her to escape or anything like that.
It's all fenced in. And then, like I said, the beach is right there. You want to bring her down the beach, leash her up, bring her down the beach. It's more residential. It's not that opportunity, you know. I think that brings it way down. Like I said, between my parents and me working full time now and having to really, I think she would help me, honestly, because I'm not staying at the house right now, so I get bored, you know. So.
Any other questions?
No.
Mr. Kilcoyne?
So I feel the same. I think we've all been touched in the society by, the current epidemic with narcotics. Everyone's probably known someone, lost someone.
Definitely.
I speak from personal experience, from personal friends, tragically. If you were able to keep the dog, the certified dog trainer says that the owners would need to spend the time and money to get Chelsea properly evaluated. So that wouldn't be you helping her. You'd have to actually pay for
Yeah.
a certified trainer and a professional to guide them with, and so you'd have to go to school. Chelsea would have to go to school. And you'd have to learn how to implement structure and boundaries that would help her be successful in the future. So I know you're going through a lot. It's going to take a lot of time and money to rehabilitate Chelsea, it states. It will take months, she says, years under ideal training. So do you feel that, given where you are in your life, as difficult as this may be to say, that you have the reserve of strength and financial income to be able to do all that?
Honestly, like I told her before, so at one point, before transitioning back up here, that's when the addiction really started. I said to myself, I think 3 days before I ended up coming down here, I had a friend drive me down here, and me and the dog were like walking around the city all night, nowhere to go, and I'm thinking to myself, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I think the fact that, I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like a bond. It's like I would go to any lengths to make sure that I had her and did what I could do to help her, and,
Back then
she's
we
a big
did-
part of my life, pretty
No,
much.
I understand dogs become part of the family. But you're in extenuating circumstances, and all the people that I've known in my life that are at where you are, it takes every ounce of energy from deep down inside to fight that demon every day.
It sure does.
And so I'm very proud of you for doing that, because, as I said, it's not easy to do. That's why I asked you about having the financial wherewithal to be able to do that. And it's going to be a year-long commitment to you, and so I'm just asking, I know you're attached. Is that something you both feel you can do?
So before this happened, and before I moved to Florida, from when I was 18 till I was about 27, I worked with this guy I'm working for now almost 10 years straight. No break time, nothing, and then I kind of spiraled out of control, and I'm actually back with him now. So the guy I work for, he's rooting for me too. Obviously, he kind of makes it easy for me, but at least it's some steady employment before I had. So I currently work back with him. I've been with him a long time. I plan on being with him for longer. So it's not like just a job I'm going to have for a week or two. It's somebody that I've actually worked for a number of years.
I was also, because I'm in addiction and I go to meetings every day and the clinic and everything at outpatient in High Point. I was offered a position to work as a recovery coach. I started the academy, I think it's June 15th, I believe it is, to become a recovery coach. And also, before I start the academy, I was offered a position working at Dunkin' Donuts just in the meantime. But we do have the money isn't not like we don't have any money or anything like that. Before we never did. Every dollar we had went to drugs.
Yeah.
Now, literally, we were just talking to ourselves last night. We're we have $5,000
money.
saved. We're wow, we
Yeah.
actually have money, and we're we have money to do things now. Other than every dollar, every penny we had, we spent on drugs, and it still wasn't enough. But now that we've, taken, obviously, it's never going to be fully taken care of our addiction, but every single day it gets better and easier for us.
And I'd be more than willing to set up a payment. They've been housing the dog. We would definitely, if it was to rehome her, set up payment, whatever we needed to do to
pay that back.
Obviously it'd be tough to pay for the training and then pay the $700 and something, but at least to rehome her. I'd pay the $200 for the rehoming fee, or whatever it is to get something, and then, you know, if they would be willing to work with us, so.
So I do appreciate you and Mr. Chairman bearing with me on this. So, thank you once again. Hang in there. It is one day at a time.
Yeah.
Every day does get easier, and
Yeah.
but it is a process. It's not an event. And you did address my questions of maybe financially, will you be able to, you know, meet the obligation, put her in the dog in professional training, and both of you as well. I imagine that's quite expensive. Also, it requires a fair amount of time commitment. But I did notice when I asked the question twice, and I asked specifically about, do you have the reserve well, given what you're doing, which is phenomenal, to actually take on all that too? And twice I didn't hear that answer.
Well, we do.
Yeah,
Right, well,
I know I do. I know I certainly do. It's my dog. I'm gonna fight for my dog. She can't fight. I'm
it's
gonna
like
fight
our
for her.
child.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
She doesn't have a voice.
Just lost my page. What did I do with it? All right, so the next, thank you for that. And again, just to follow up, I mean, much like Mr. Darcy, I appreciate your candor and your openness to discuss addiction and your recovery. I mean, if anything, I'm hoping that somebody sees this and hope it gives them inspiration to get some help too, because we absolutely have a problem with narcotics.
We do.
Really bad narcotics. These guys all know, and our chief of police is sitting right there, so
terrible.
he could tell you, like, every day we hear terrible, terrible stories. So good for you to pull yourself
Thank
up
you.
Thank you.
and get well. So I'm going to close this hearing for public, and then we're going to deliberate on this a little bit. So what I'm going to say here is super tough, because I love dogs, and I have a dog, and she's part of my family, so I totally get it, 100%, okay? However, I'm looking at this, and I'm floored that this dog has done so much malice to people, including people who were just walking their dog in the neighborhood and just out. And I think about myself and my dog and how I would feel. And, you know, dogs will be dogs, I understand. And I know sometimes they bark at each other really, strongly, or they nip at each other. But Chelsea, unfortunately, has caused major trauma to people who were not doing anything but just to trying to enjoy the afternoon and walk their dog. And that can't happen. It just can't happen.
Absolutely not.
And I think the other thing that is tough is, much like Mr. Kilcoyne said, I think it's going to take all your energy and focus to keep yourselves from going backwards into addiction, because don't always look at the book by its cover and say that you guys don't really know anything about addiction. I don't mean to be disrespectful about that, but you don't know me, and you don't know what I've been through, and you don't know, right? So just saying, I understand, okay?
Thank you.
So it is a very difficult decision, but I just can't feel confident that even if you move Chelsea to another place and you put her under lock and key, I mean, we've proven that she's gotten out even under lock and key. There's also been opportunity to muzzle her and restrain her, and that wasn't done. She was supposed to be in quarantine, and that wasn't done. And I understand that at that time potentially you were fighting, you were an addict, and you were dealing with that, and that's tough. And if that is truly the case, though, what Chelsea was doing, that she saved your life,
She did.
then you should be very thankful for that. But that being said, that just isn't acceptable behavior for an animal. It just isn't, whether it's a dog or any animal. And there are animals, right? They are family members, but they have to be taken care of, and they have to be trained, and they have to be restrained when they need to be restrained. And it's just a very, very difficult situation. So my personal feeling is I just don't see a very good pathway forward for Chelsea that would keep her from hurting other people and doing this again and again and again. And I trust my police department and my animal control officer and the work they've done. It's all documented here. They've tried to give you guys an opportunity and a chance, and they've tried to give Chelsea the same. And it's just been very, very difficult, but it doesn't seem like there's a really very positive outcome in this situation.
That was our fault, not really her fault.
I understand, and I don't want to be mean, okay, but much like Mr. Kilcoyne says, it is your fault.
No, it is, yeah.
And it would be my fault too, right, if my dog bit somebody or did something. I also have a cat. My cat was attacked by local dogs in my neighborhood, and those dogs were, they were taken away because you can't just have your dogs running wild and biting people's cats and dogs. You just can't have that. So that's kind of where I feel, Mr. Darcy. I'm going to throw it your way.
Yeah, I mean, I am a big believer in animal rehabilitation, and Tracy Brett, she's taken a lot of dogs out of the red zone, so it is just concerning that she just can't be sure that Chelsea won't bite or attack again, and it's a tough situation, and I've always kept my fingers crossed I'd never have to do a dangerous dog hearing while I was on the board, but it's just a tough situation, and it just seems like a situation where Chelsea might be beyond repair, which is, awful to say and awful to hear, but that's kind of the situation that we're in, and, she slipped out of her collar multiple times, she's escaped the house, so it's just a concern for the public safety of others and yourselves as well.
Yeah. Mr. Kilcoyne?
Yes, Attorney Galvin?
Yes.
Would it be beneficial, not beneficial, to cover Chapter 140, Section 157, so we can clarify in public that a dog shall not be deemed dangerous?
Yeah, there are certain circumstances which, if evident, would result in the board not being able to conclude dangerousness.
Correct.
One would be if the dangerousness finding was solely based on growling, barking, or growling and barking,
Which it wasn't.
which it is not,
Right.
from what I've heard. It was, if the finding was simply based on the breed of the dog, which it doesn't seem to be based on the breed, it seems to be conduct. If the dog was reacting to another animal or to a person, and the dog's reaction was not grossly disproportionate to any of the following circumstances. One, the dog was protecting or defending itself or its offspring, or another domestic animal or person from attack or assault.
I don't see that as a case here from what I've read.
The person who was attacked or threatened by the dog was committing a crime on the person or property of another, or the owner or keeper of the dog. The person attacked or threatened by the dog was engaged in teasing, tormenting, battering, assaulting, injuring, or otherwise provoking the dog. Or lastly, at the time of the attack or threat, the person or animal that was attacked or threatened had breached an enclosure or structure, was kept apart from the public, and such person or animal was not authorized by the owner of the premises to be within such enclosure. It's basically where a dog gets into another dog's pen and cause incidents. And those are, as a matter of law, factors that would preclude you from finding dangerousness. I didn't hear any evidence that would lead me to conclude that any of those apply.
Yeah, I read this whole packet, and I do have to tell you, although I've been here just less than a year, this is the thickest packet for anything I have read since I've been elected as a select board member. So it's a copious amount of information. I read every single page. And there are 7 items here that Chapter 140, Section 157 says that I could find your dog is not dangerous. Right? And so I was trying to find something out of those 7, and that's why I wanted that read into the record. And I'm really sorry to report, I couldn't find any extenuating circumstances in those 7 items where I could say this dog is not dangerous. And I wanted to find that. And it is really sad. I know they're like a member of the family. But unfortunately, your dog's personality has deteriorated because of your drug addiction. And the dog is just a byproduct of what happened during that year. And there were a lot of other things, I'm sure, bad that happened to you in that year. You spoke about, maybe you're on probation or something like that. And, so this, it was just part of that spiral. This is what drugs do. They destroy everything.
Yeah.
So I really, Mr. Chairman, and I'll close with this, is I tried to find somewhere in those 7 that I could not find him to be dangerous, but I couldn't.
I agree. So,
She doesn't get put down, does she?
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
First thing you have to do is make a finding that the dog is dangerous.
Right.
And after you've made that, or not, and then you have to make a finding as to the disposition and all of the options for disposition.
Right, so I believe at this point, based on our conversation, we all agree that the dog is dangerous, correct?
Fortunately,
So we will,
So you should have a motion to that effect.
right, so I'm gonna make a motion that, based on the testimony of our police and our animal control officer and the testimony of the owners, that we have a finding that this dog is deemed a dangerous animal.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so now we need to discuss what are we recommending?
So on the last page of the process and options, I outlined the options for the board to consider if you found that the dog was dangerous.
Right,
And the first one was humanely restrained, but no order can provide, the dog can be chained, tethered, or otherwise tied to an inanimate object.
right,
That's one thing.
right,
Second was dog be confined to the premises of a keeper of the dog, provided confined means securely confined indoors or confined outdoors in a securely enclosed locked pen or dog run area on the premises of an owner or keeper. And provided further, it has to have a secure roof. It has, if it has no floor, the sides have to be embedded into the ground, not less than 2 feet. And that within the confines of the pen or the dog run, there has to be proper shelter from the elements to protect the dog. And that comes with the option or requirement that when the dog is removed from the premises, the dog has to be securely and humanely muzzled and restrained with a chain or other tethering device having a minimum tensile strength of 300 pounds and not exceeding 3 feet in length. So that kind of is your first option
right,
in order to confine. The second option is requiring that the owner or keeper provide not less than $100,000 worth of insurance to protect against injury or damage caused by a dog. And these are, by the way, not like mutually exclusive. You can do more
Right.
than one. And, you know, I'm concerned about the expense involved in that. But,
right,
I mean, that's what your option is, because, again, if this dog gets loose, there's a possibility that it'll cause harm.
right,
Third, basically, that the owner keeper provide some evidence by which the dog can be easily identified. It sounds like the dog's pretty much familiar to the town anyways, so, I don't think the number 6 applies, having to do with a medical condition. I haven't heard
Right.
any evidence of a medical condition.
right,
So then the 7th, which is really a kind of a second or a third option, is that the dog be humanely euthanized.
right. I mean, my biggest concern is I just can't see how this dog is not gonna get out. Like, it's been out like so many times, and it's gotten itself out, and then it's gotten loose from its owners, and it's gotten, I mean, it's not a if, it's a when, in my opinion, and it's just very difficult for me to even to think that, you know, we need to put this dog down, but at the end of the day, have humanely euthanized, but at the end of the day, I don't want, it's just difficult for me to think that this dog could hurt another person. And I'm gonna give it the chance to do that. And it's very, very difficult for me. This is very, very difficult for me. So, and I know it's very difficult for you. So I'm not making light of this at all. And I'm, you know, it's just a very, very difficult situation. But my recommendation is euthanasia. So that's all I can think of. So, Mr. Darcy.
Yeah, unfortunately, I just think the dog is damaged beyond repair, and it's just too high of a risk that someone else is going to get hurt or killed, whether it's them or their animal. So it's a last resort, and I know that it wouldn't have been recommended if every other avenue wasn't exhausted beforehand, and nobody wants to do this, and it's just a really sad situation.
Yeah. Let's go coin.
It's very sad. I view my duty here, not just to be compassionate to you and try to be fair to the dog and all the life experiences that I listen to, right? But I also have to protect the citizens of the town. So that is a key responsibility I have. And unfortunately, given the rapid spiral down of this dog and the fact that they usually almost never ever are able to recover from that, and then the danger could present to people that I'm responsible for, protecting in this role, I'm very regretfully, Mr. Chairman, do agree that the dog should be humanely euthanized, and it grieves me to say that.
All right. So that's our finding.
We don't-
So I'm going to tell you, based on our animal control officer's recommendation, that, we believe we've collected all possible evidence in regards to Chelsea and her behavior to make an accurate recommendation. So our recommendation is that we have proved that Chelsea is a dangerous dog due to the nature of the progression of her bites, and based on that evidence presented to you today, it is clear that both you, Dina, and Daniel Cookson, Dina Brown and Daniel Cookson, are unsuitable to be the keepers of this dangerous dog, and have both proven to be uncooperative with government law enforcement. It is also noted that the dog is not welcome and allowed at the owner's current primary residence. So the Animal Control Division also had Chelsea evaluated by Tracy Britt, who stated, or a certified dog trainer who stated in a report, even with the most ideal training conditions, she cannot guarantee that she would never resort to the fight-bite instinct that she's shown in the past year or so. So we have reached out to the Animal Rescue League to see if they would be interested in taking Chelsea, and they declined to do that because of her history. And so in the best interest of our public safety, our town, along with Chelsea's current bite history, the Marshfield Animal Control Division and the Select Board unfortunately recommends humane euthanasia. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Do we get like her ashes or something?
You'd have to work that out.
So, there's a,
I'm good with this.
We're good with this. We're good. You guys have no hearts.
I beg to differ.
so, let me just come up and I'll. So, the animal control officer and the select board will petition the district court to keep the dog impounded for the next 10 days. There's an appeal period of 10 days. If they hadn't left the room, I would have explained that to them in case they wanted to seek judicial review, which they could have done in the Plymouth District Court. We will still serve them with that notice so that when they relaxed and they can think clearly about it, they can exercise that right. So nothing will happen immediately, but we'll file that petition and then we'll ask for authorization and proceed accordingly. And I'm sure we can handle that last request at some point.
Right, and I understand it's an emotional situation, but that action just verified that we did the right thing.
You're probably not, you're one of the few select boards that are faced with a death penalty type decision.
Not easy, man.
I've only seen it having to be done a few times, and you handled it as appropriately as you could and as compassionately as you could.
That's what I thought, so. All right, thank you. They're upset, I get it. It's tough. My dog is my family, so I get it. All right. Thanks for everybody for hanging in.
Thank you. I know that's heavy. I know it's
Thanks.
very heavy, and you guys have a lot to consider, and we concur with your decision. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks for coming, and thanks
and
for being very
I'm
prepared.
also
We
thinking
appreciate it.
of you guys too. This can't be easy for you as well.
Yeah,
This is not why you got in the profession.
Definitely not.
You got in the profession to help. So yeah.
okay, so if everybody can just hang in a little bit, we do have our 7 o'clock appointment, which is, almost an hour late, so, it's the poll hearing for Old Colony Lane. Thanks for hanging in. Bet you didn't really think you were gonna be here an extra hour, huh?
You clocking overtime?
Thanks, guys.
I'll strike that.
All right, so I'm gonna make this quick, all right? So we'll make a notice of public hearing, this is a notice of public hearing in conformity with the requirements of section 22 of chapter 166 of the general laws. Dear Ed, you are hereby notified that a public hearing will be held at the Marshfield Town Hall, Selectmen's Hearing Room, 870 Moraine Street, Marshfield, Massachusetts, on the 4th day of April 2022 at 7 p.m. upon the petition of NStar Electric Company, DBA Eversource Energy, dated March 2022, for permission to locate underground cables, conduits, manholes, and to locate and relocate poles, wires, cables, and fixtures, including the necessary sustaining and protecting fixtures under, along, and across the following public ways of said town, which is Marshfield, Board of Selectmen, Town of Marshfield, by Kate Burke, Secretary. All right. I understand we're gonna move this pole. You wanna give us some quick,
Actually, it's, we're gonna install,
A new pole.
to install a new pole
yeah.
and to install the underground cable and conduit for an electric car charging system.
Yes, ma'am.
For, at the airport, yes.
Over at the airport.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, awesome, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
I mean, is there any concerns? Anybody have any concerns about this?
No.
I don't have any. I mean, this seems pretty straightforward. It seems like it makes sense, and it's cool to get an electric car charging station over there.
Absolutely.
Because it it's kind of going towards, as a board, I mean, this is something everyone should know by now because we just had our energy consultant here, but we're committed, to providing more green energy options for the Marshfield residents, including electric cars and electric car chargers. And the more charges we have, more time people will get a car. So, and at the airport, it's a good
If they
place.
don't know where they're gonna charge them at.
That's
right?
correct. So we're working on that, and this is a great thing. So that sounds good to me. Anything?
Nope.
Cool.
No, just a quick question. I know we're gonna have a lot more charging stations up here. In your professional opinion, will there be a lot more poles and infrastructure needed, or is it basically the infrastructure near, or what are you seeing and finding?
Well, I see a lot of, I don't see a lot of poles being installed. A lot of towns don't like the poles particularly. They prefer to do the underground thing, so, but this is a pole
Yes, I
at
know.
the end of the pole line. It was the end of a pole line.
And it's at the airport, I get that.
Right.
It's not in the
and then-
neighborhood.
Yeah, and then the underground, which you won't see, and then it goes onto private property and they take care of it from there. But I don't, it just depends on where it is.
Yeah.
And as to what kind of equipment will need to go in.
Well, I appreciate you helping me and understand it a little better, and thanks for taking the time to come in.
Oh, no problem. Again, I get paid.
No further comments.
Overtime. Feel free to stay. We won't tell anyone.
He's not. He wants to go eat or do something. Watch Ted Lasso. If you haven't watched it, you should watch it. All right. So the board moves to approve the request of NStar Electric Company, DBA Eversource Energy, work order number 4374795, to locate underground cable, conduits, manholes, including the necessary sustaining and protecting fixtures in, under, along, and across the following public way or ways: Old Colony Avenue, underground cable and conduit location. Install 2 to 4 inches PVC conduit and 1 pull box to be installed substantially in accordance with the plan filed herewith marked plan number 4374795, dated January 24th, 2022. The petitioners also agreed to reserve space for 1 cross arm at a suitable point on each of said poles for fire, police, and telephone and telegraph signal wires belonging to the municipality and used by its exclusively for municipal purposes.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Especially that we have telegraph. All right.
Telegraph.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. We
Thank you
appreciate
very
it.
much.
Thank you so much.
Have a good night.
Thanks, Connie.
I see your night go a little easier.
Well,
It can't get any worse.
we'll see.
Well, don't say that.
That's true.
Never know. All right, so, Mr. Verga.
Yes.
Thank you. The next item is discussion and vote on application for temporary entertainment license, South Shore Buds, for an event on April 23rd, 2022. I know this is application for a temporary one-day entertainment license, Frozen 4 Corporate, you guys, South Shore Buds. This event is proposed for Saturday, 4/23/2022 from 10 to 6. It would include live music, amplification system, radio, and estimated attendees of 500 to 1,000 people. Would you like to chat a little bit about what your vision is for this event?
So in the cannabis world, 420 is a very big day. It's a celebration of the legalization of cannabis. 420 falls on a Wednesday, so we have picked 423 to do our event. It also gives us the opportunity to kind of do a grand opening because our opening was obviously in mid-December during a global pandemic and very cold weather, so it's an opportunity to do that. We'll have food trucks, we'll have live music, we will have a magician that also does balloons. I'm not quite sure, but yes, that's what we're paying for. We'll have displays. There'll be a bunch of vendors there. We have some people that make glass that will have it on display. We have people that make wood that will be on display. We have some of our vendors coming with non-infused samples. Think of the seltzers that we sell, but there'll be no THC in them, so people can taste what the seltzer tastes like, et cetera, et cetera. And it will be, it will be a kind of a street festival kind of theme outside with normal business on the inside. I think it's important to note those two will not mix. We're not asking for an event where we can extend the boundaries of the store. We're not asking for permission to have any sort of social consumption because that's not legal in the state. The outside of the property will not be restricted to 21 plus because the regulations within the Cannabis Control Commission don't require it to be. But obviously the store will still be 21 plus, double ID'd at the door and at the time of purchase. We plan to put in some extraordinary steps and measures just to alleviate any potential concerns that anyone in the town has about what will happen at the event. We will be having all of our customers informed when they walk in the door that obviously social consumption is not allowed. I do want to point out that we have incredibly strict policies about that already.
Sure.
Every inch of the property is under camera. We have third-party security walking the property. Cameras are monitored. Every inch of the property has to be under camera at all times. Chief Tavares has done a thorough inspection of our security and I think has been impressed by it. So we'll be ratcheting up those efforts, though. We will have every single person that is employed at our company, including myself and my partners, the owners, will be on site the entire time. Not just the 25 members of the retail staff, but we'll have over 40 people that are employed at our company there that day to be outside and inside and be a presence. I brought gifts for everyone on the select board to see. As you can see, these are our normal, beautiful South Shore Buds bags that we put everything in when people purchase stuff. What we'll be doing on that day, in addition, is we'll be stapling the corners and the top with a sealed label on it. We will have 4 staff members positioned by the exit door. When people exit the property, we'll explain to them that if they'd like to join the festival, that's fine, but we have to walk them to their car to lock away their product first. No one will be walking around with this bag in their hands. If the bag seal is broken, that person will automatically be asked to leave the property. If anyone is consuming, we will do what we have to do under the state guidelines anyway, which is to notify the Cannabis Control Commission, to contact the Marshfield Police, but we don't anticipate that being an issue. We've been open since December 15th. We see an average of 30 to 40 people an hour, every hour of the day, 7 days a week, and we've never had one incident of any kind at the site. Marshfield Police has never had to respond other than the one time that one of our employees accidentally called 911 from their cell phone before we were even open. Other than that, Marshfield Police has never even been by, and so we're very confident that that will continue to be the case, and the town will be very proud to have us operate our business as you have been so far.
Okay. I know.
And I know that I was informed that the safety officer would like us to have a detail that day. Our special permit does give the chief of police the purview to put one on any time he wants, so we're fine with that, and we look forward to having the Marshfield Police on site during the day.
Okay, great. I'm very, I think that I'm very appreciative of the thoroughness that you put to planning this event. I know that you sent us information ahead of time so we could look at it and can consider questions. I mean, for me, probably the biggest challenge, and I want to make this clear that you've been a great business owner in our town since you've stepped up and done everything you said you would do as part of our host agreement and as part of coming into Marshfield, and I recognize that. So I feel comfortable with what you're saying. For me, though, the biggest challenge I think is guaranteeing that people aren't going to consume on the premises, because I know how hard it is to control individual people. I mean, I'm assuming people. This is great, and I mean, look, I right now, if you told me to get into that bag, it would take me a lot of work to get into that bag. So I'd have to really purposefully try to get in the bag.
I'm not concerned about it simply because you've been to our store, so you know the layout.
Sure.
You have to exit through the door on the patio. We'll have 4 staff members there, and when you walk out the door, we're going to say, "Are you staying for the festival, or are you leaving?" If they say they're leaving, we're still going to walk them to their car, and we're going to watch them pull out of their parking space. If they say they're staying, we're going to watch them lock it in their car. And the reason we'll have 4 people there, so there's going to be a constant motion going around. I myself will be spending the entire 8 hours on the patio, as will my partners David and Luke, and we'll be there watching the entire time. And we're going to, and we will. Most of our customers are aware that there is a higher level of scrutiny for cannabis than there is for alcohol. Whether that's socially appropriate and societally appropriate or not is not something we need to get into tonight.
Right.
But most cannabis people that go to a dispensary are aware of the burden they have on them to make sure that they don't ruin it, so to speak, for everybody else.
Sure.
So I have zero concerns about this being a widespread problem. And if someone does cause an issue, we'll simply ask them to leave, and we'll ask the Marshfield Police Department that's there on site to assist us in that process.
Yeah.
And they'll be on caught. I mean, it'll be the easiest thing Marshfield Police ever has to deal with, because we'll be able to give them about 17 different camera angles of that person breaking the law. I'm sure Chief Tavares wishes all of their incidents were under camera 17 different ways.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I know you do have a serious eye in the sky situation.
Big Brother is always watching at South Shore Butts.
So that is true, and it does make me feel better that Officer Filer, our safety officer Kevin Filer, has reviewed this and made recommendation that you're amenable to. So that makes me feel better.
We're very aware that this is a first time that we're asking for this, and it's
Sure.
a big deal. We fully expect for it to be carried off in the same professional and legally compliant manner we carry everything else off, and we know that once we do this once, going forward, I won't have to come and listen to that awful dog hearing before you guys give us the permit in years forward. But we're happy.
Sure picked the right night to come.
Yes, we are happy to participate in whatever process the town wants for the town to feel comfortable. Our goal from the day we came into the town was that we would be a great corporate partner. I think that we have gone above and beyond to make sure that we are doing that, and we're going to continue to do that, because every time someone from the town comes in and tells us how happy they are we're there and how great the experience is, and the fact that we have had 0 incidents of any kind in all the time we've been open, I think is wonderful. So
Yeah.
we will spend the entire 8 hours making sure that consumption on the premises is as unlikely an event as humanly possible. I cannot guarantee it, because it's not possible to guarantee what humans are going to do. I mean, if somebody gets in their car, says they're leaving, pulls out of their space, and drives out of the parking lot, and then comes back 5 minutes later and consumed it at the Bank of America across the street, I do not have superpowers to stop that, but we will make it sure from the moment they walk in and they check their ID, the first thing our greeter will say to them is, just be aware that there's cameras and there's police here today, and consumption's not allowed. When they're checking out, their bud tender will be saying that to them as they're stapling the bag and sealing it to explain it to them. When they walk out the door, our staff's going to greet them. It's going to reinforce that with people. So, I mean, you'd really have to want to have the Marshfield Police be part of your life to consume on that day, because it won't be like anyone's going to be surprised that it wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah, and I mean, we're a town that's become a town that has a major international music. I mean, I would go so far as to say international music festival at this point. We have the major acts. People come from all over the world to come to Marshfield, which is crazy to even think that, just a few years ago there was nothing like Levitate Festival, and now we have Jack Johnson coming to our city, our town, right? And then it's a lot of people. There's a lot of adult beverages being consumed and things happening at that event that, our police, our Lieutenant Shaw and Chief Tavares are sitting right here. I mean, they've done an amazing job working with Mr. Hassett, and we've had almost no incidents in all the years of Levitate. So, we become a place that welcomes like events and festivals and things like that, and even Levitate Backyard, where there's alcohol consumption and there's food and there's things. Everybody. The burden the burden goes on the business owner. I mean, ultimately, people have to be reminded. You guys were approved by the CCC. There's no way you're gonna. I mean, I would think there's no way you're gonna jeopardize your license.
No.
And your host agreement with us because, to let someone consume on the property. But for me, I just wanted to hear from you.
Yeah, listen, I think it's our top priority is that every time we talk with town officials, whether it be members of the select board, the chief of police, or Mr. Maresco, that we can look you in the eye and tell you that we are doing everything we can to do it the right way, because our goal is to bring cannabis to the South Shore and to help people with their health and well-being and to normalize cannabis consumption for adults because it is as legal as alcohol consumption.
Correct.
And so we know that we have to do it better and tighter and more organized and more professional than anyone else because we're going to be held to a higher standard. We owe it to those that are fighting for legalization in Scituate as we speak. Scituate's got a ballot measure. We've been very supportive of those gentlemen and ladies in Scituate who are pushing it because you have to pay it forward. So if we screw the pooch, so to speak, on 420 event in front of the town, it's going to feed those NIMBYs in Scituate to say, see, we can't have it. But when we put off a great event that the town will see, and it will just reinforce the fact that the NIMBYs maybe are crying wolf at something that doesn't exist.
Yeah, and I think it's important to point out that the 420 events are held all over the country and all over Massachusetts, correct?
Yeah, I have quite a list here of all the ones that are going on. Actually, ours is pretty tame. I'm a little annoyed, to be honest, that we didn't think of some of these things. But 415 at Seed in Jamaica Plain, they're having a massive concert. They're actually charging $50 a ticket, which was genius. We should have done that. Boterra at both Brockton and Franklin is having an event, food trucks and live music. Live music performances and food trucks at Solar Cannabis in Somerset. Western Front in Chelsea is actually probably the best one. They're having a reggae fest with live music and an art gallery, tutorials, vendors, food trucks, etc. And Berkshire Roots in Pittsfield is having multiple food trucks, multiple music events, and multiple education information sessions about cannabis throughout the day. And those are just 6 that I picked off the internet
Yeah,
in
I'm
about
sure
10
there's
minutes of
more.
time. I do have other stuff to do during the day, but I was impressed by some of the events that are going on. Mass Live and Reddit both have websites devoted entirely to all the 420 events that are going on. And again, the 420 event is to celebrate the legalization of cannabis. It is not an event for people to consume cannabis together.
Got it. All right, that's excellent. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's also doubling as our grand opening, and we're very excited about it.
True.
It's also, I think, going to be great for the town, as I said, in my memo to you guys, because we expect this to be a fraction of the crowd we have in the summertime. So I think this will be great information for the chief of police to get, for the select board to get, for the town administrator to get, to see just how many people throughout the day we can get there before it actually does have an impact. Our highest total to date has been 567 customers in one day. That was on my wife's birthday, December 23rd. It probably wasn't because of her, but I let her think what she wants, so I'm not going to argue with her. And that had zero impact. So I talk with the Marshfield Police on a consistent basis to make sure nobody's calling, and no one has yet. So our hope is on the 3rd of July that we'll hit 1,500 customers. So it'll be interesting to see what 423 brings and what kind of impact it has, because we're always talking with the police about potential need for a detail.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note that this is a 7-hour event, and we're saying 500 to 1,000 people. You don't know,
Correct.
But over 7 hours, that's an average of.
We have 83 parking spots, so
I don't feel like there's going to be 1,000 people coming at noon and staying till 5. I think it's going to be a come and go kind of situation, and there's opportunity for education there as well, and
Yes,
other
there is.
opportunity. And I think you're saying that. So
I think the best thing about our site is that we average between 300 and 400 transactions a day, and most people that I run into in town kind of get that look on their face and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, the store's not doing well." And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. They said, well, it doesn't look like anyone's ever there. So we designed the site so that people would feel like it was always available for them to come in.
Yeah.
But we're thrilled with the traction we've got in the winter months. So we expect that we could do 1,500 people a day without there needing to be a police detail or any blip on the radar as far as traffic or crowd goes. So we're excited to see what the turnout's like. And it's important to note that unlike a lot of the events that are done in town where alcohol is served, this is not a 21-plus event on the outside. Anyone driving by that wants to come and look at some of the street festival tents, so to speak, or go to the food trucks is more than welcome to do so because they cannot get it in the store. And, my daughters are excited. I have 17-year-old twins at Duxbury High School. They're seniors, and this will be the first time they can come to an event on the site. They can't come in the store, but they can come on the site, and
Right.
they're excited to get some tacos.
Awesome. All right.
That's my hint of saying I hope you give the peddler license to the taco truck that's on your agenda.
We just gave
Oh, you did? Awesome.
Well, we
So
had
they
a
could
wa-
come get some tacos.
Lolly Jolly waffles, though.
Waffles, too, yes. Waffles, that was it. Sorry.
Okay, I was gonna say we don't have any.
I think,
tacos,
no, the
but-
taco guys were already approved.
Oh, they'll probably already have their annual.
Yes.
So, yeah, all right,
Excellent.
good. All right, our illustrious police chief and Lieutenant Shaw are here. Do you have anything to add on this? No, what are your, how are you, what's your, I mean, obviously, Officer Filer.
We sat down with the safety officer, Lieutenant Shaw, and I, and reviewed the plans. You know, we had some concerns at the beginning, but they were all addressed appropriately. There haven't been any issues up there whatsoever, none. Zero problems with parking, traffic, complaints with citizens, patrons, nothing.
Okay. All right, I don't have any, you have any other questions or concerns?
Just a few comments, yeah. First off, I'm sorry if attorney Guard is paid by the hour.
Yes. It's all right.
And then I hope your wife isn't.
Sorry, Steve.
Yeah.
When I have a client like this, I don't have to say anything. He does his thing, and it's
He still
wonderful
bills
to
us, though.
represent someone that has so
Yeah.
much knowledge about
It's a great gig.
the business he runs.
That's perfect. And then second, I hope that your wife isn't watching the meeting as iPad, because you're going to be in trouble. when you
No,
get
no,
home.
she's at my daughter's final choral concert in Providence that I missed tonight to appear before you guys, but that's all right. She'll forgive me
Sorry
at
about
some
that.
point. It's okay. She's going to Auburn, so she's going to be warm, so she won't be, and I got to pay for it, so she'll get over it.
Yeah, Auburn,
Yeah.
good school.
So, yeah, we definitely appreciate the thorough memo you put together and the visual demonstration of the extra layer of sealing that you're putting on the bags to make sure no one consumes on site. And we saw the safety officer didn't have any issues and just recommended a detail, which hopefully will help if anyone wants to be a jerk about leaving the site. They'll probably listen more to the guys in blue. So, yeah, I mean, you've been a great business owner and partner to the town. And you've done
Appreciate that.
everything you said you were going to do. So I think you deserve a fair shake. So definitely support the license.
All right, cool, thanks. Mr. Kilcoyne.
Yeah, my first inclination is always to try to support, business or citizens in town, something like this. I was thinking back to my experience on the Conservation Commission, and we always used to say, our purpose is not to be the commission of no. Our purpose is always trying to find a way to make it a mutual win. That said, when I reviewed this, it did lead me to question some of the things that were potential pitfalls with this event. Did you explore at all alternative locations?
I mean, the point of this is dually, as I said, it's both a celebration of 420, and it's our actual official grand opening, so an outside location would not really make sense for us to do.
From a traffic perspective, it's a challenging road to take a left, whether you're at the Ming Dynasty or you're at your establishment. It is, 4 or 5 lanes, so I will defer to the professionals on that. If you could comment, Chief, do you feel you've done a thorough analysis and the traffic will not pose any problems?
I didn't personally, the safety officer did review
Yes.
it. He didn't see there would be any problems. It's not going to be that many number of people there all at once.
Right.
It's throughout the whole
It's a
day.
slow feed, is what you're saying. Okay, I just wanted that to be brought out as well again. I think we may be pushing the size for the number of people. I know they're going to come and go, but if it's really successful, I'll bring up something that we thought was going to be somewhat small and contained. I think we call it Lobster Fest.
Yeah.
And the first year, they ran out of lobster rolls, which is the purpose of Lobster Fest, in an hour. So I hope it's wildly successful for you. And that would mean that you're going to have way more than that, right? And that was why I went back to alternative locations, and maybe in the future it would go to that. So that said,
I mean, it's important to note, too, that the average, dispensary's average amount of parking spaces is around 15 spots. We have 83, so, so it does allow us to, and the average transaction at a dispensary takes about 18 minutes. So if you think about that over the course of the hour, 3 spots for every hour, you can really see 240 people an hour, and we're open 11 hours a day. So honestly, we could roll through over 2,000 people there without actually having people not be able to park.
as long as they roll through. I'm talking about people that are going to come and stay and eat and listen. So
Oh, yeah,
that's
without a
that's a
doubt.
little different from a traffic management perspective. That's all I was trying to bring out. Given that and given what I heard this evening, those were my concerns. And I started out saying I think we should always give the businesses and our citizens a benefit of the doubt on something like this to give it a shot and try. And so I, Mr. Chairman, say that I am fine with this as well, but I do have these caveats that, you know, we'll need to watch, and if everything goes great, year 2, year 3.
Exactly.
If it doesn't, then, you know, maybe we need to look at a different location or something.
We're very aware of the fact that the proof is in the pudding, and we appreciate you giving us that opportunity, and it's on us to do what we said we're going to do, and we fully plan to do that, and if we don't, we fully expect the consequences to be.
Well, you've done it so far, so.
Thank you. I appreciate that very
I think
much.
you've earned the right to have this given a trial.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
All right, good.
And in year 2 and 3, we're gonna have signal.
Circle back on the
Absolutely.
Yes.
We're gonna have a traffic light, so it's gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can have a traffic light.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah, how's that coming along?
We're not talking about that. We're not talking about that tonight. That's all right.
And yeah, just with respect to some historical analogies for other first-year events, what happened with Lobster Fest was they had all these food trucks booked, and then because of the hurricane, they had to delay it for a weekend, and all the trucks had other commitments except for one, so they only had one truck, and that's why they ran out of lobster.
Oh, is that the backstory to that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So that's why this year too went a lot better because there were no delays or cancellations or anything.
And they had all the trucks.
Yeah, exactly. So
They
that
did. It was
was
great.
Oh, that's an interesting backstory.
yes. So it was a good year
thanks
for
for
the
that,
point, but
But it definitely, look, it definitely, I mean, Lara did not expect the turnout, but they were able to handle it the best they could, but I think it was an extenuating circumstance, but I agree.
I don't think anyone in the town of Marshfield's going to be upset if we run out of cannabis, because that would be quite a 3% day for the town.
No, I was gonna say, I would be shocked if we ran out of cannabis
I hope we do, but I would think we won't.
to be in the vault. Okay, so I think we've covered it, right? We're good?
I think so. Good.
All right, so the board moves to approve the request by Frozen 4 Corp. doing DBA South Shore Buds located at 985 Plain Street for a temporary one-day entertainment license for a community engagement event on Saturday, April 23rd, 2022, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. outside. Please see attachment A for full description of the event, and I already did that. I think I read that in the record, so, I mean, we covered what that is, so that's the motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Excellent. Thank you,
Good luck,
gentlemen.
guys.
Thank you, folks.
All right.
I'm going to leave your sample bags
We'll
here.
make it
Don't
clear
worry.
that
Don't worry. There's no cannabis.
No cannabis.
No
on the
cannabis. They're
public
just
record.
empty
Down the
packages.
parking lot with them, is that what you're
I
doing?
wanted to say that first.
No
Attorney Guard, always
cannabis.
good to see you.
We'll open it.
Thank you,
Chief.
Thank you, everyone. All right, let's get on with discussion and vote on application for temporary entertainment and common vic license for Circus Smirkus Big Top Tour at Marshfield Fairgrounds, which is July 20th through the 23rd. I know this organization pretty well. They're from Vermont. They are a live music theater. They're basically a circus without any animals. They have clowns. They actually even have a school or a group up in Vermont. My own child's roommate was one of the clowns in Circus Smirkus, so I know those people pretty well. And they've been in Marshfield before. It is really pretty cool, and I recommend it. It's a troop of 30 students aged 12 to 18 years old, and they'll travel to 9 locations this summer to perform acrobat, juggling, and comedy music. And again, there's no animals, so it's going to benefit the Marshfield Education Fund, and it's a great thing. So I have no questions.
No questions.
Any
No
questions?
questions, no comments.
All right, so the board moves to approve a temporary entertainment license and common victual license for Circus Smirkus Big Top Tour. Contact Nancy Belazos at the Marshfield Fairgrounds on July 20th through 23rd, 2022, July 20th and 21st with 2 shows, one at 11 a.m. and one at 7 p.m. July 23rd and 22nd, 7 p.m. show only with hours of operation 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. till 10 p.m. Performances held inside a big circus tent, Big Top Circus tent, pending approval from the Marshfield Police Department, Marshfield Fire Department, Board of Health, Building Department, and property taxes paid.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Next is discussion and vote on application for temporary wine and malt license, North River Arts Society, May 27th through the 29th. Again, the North River Arts Society, in the past, they do their event. It's it's the annual event they do for, isn't it, what's the point of it? I can't remember. It's on
Well,
the,
it's to showcase the art, so
yeah,
they
so it's
have
Art Street Festival, correct?
Art Street
Yeah.
Festival, it's outside, it's, they have kids from Marshfield High School Jazz Band.
Yeah, the
and other
band
groups
plays.
performing on Sundays, they have the opening reception and cocktail reception outside on Prospect Street.
Yeah.
On Friday night and Saturday, all day. People can come and the art folks show off their, not only their painted art, but their jewelry and other crafts that they do.
Yeah, it's super great. I've been to it many years before COVID, and then COVID obviously killed this thing for a couple of years, so it's nice to have it back. I'm good. Anything?
No questions.
Anything on your?
No comments, no
All right.
questions.
All right, so the board moves to approve a one-day liquor license for wine and malt beverages for the North River Arts Society Julie Driscoll event to be held on the following days: May 27th, 2022, from 7 till 10 p.m., May 28th and 29th, 2022, from 10 a.m. till 5 p.m. The event will take place in Marshfield Hills Village between Pleasant and Prospect Street on Old Main Street, pending approval from the Marshfield Police Department and Marshfield Fire Department.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next is discussion vote on application for temporary wine and malt license, Marshfield Hills General Store, May 28th through 29th. This is in regards to the same event. As everyone knows, Marshfield Hills General Store, Tish Favato is the manager there, and this will be coincide. They do a little outdoor bar, grill and bar at the store for the festival. So I have no questions on that.
No questions.
Any questions?
Love the General, go there at least once a week, no questions.
Awesome place. The board moves to approve a one-day liquor license for wine and malt beverages for the Marshfield Hills General Store, Tish Favato, located at 165 Prospect Street from May 28th through the 29th, 2022, from 12 noon to 5 p.m. Police and fire have signed off. An insurance certificate is attached along with Tish's alcohol server training certificate.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And next, vote to accept the minutes of March 28th, 2022. Do we have all the
Yes, we do.
signatures? Okay, any questions, concerns? Okay, so the board moves to approve the minutes for the meeting on March 28th, 2022.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
Stole your thunder, Dick.
No, that's okay. So we're going to move to go into executive session. The board moves to go into executive session to discuss strategy relating to connect collective bargaining and to conduct collective bargaining sessions with the Marshfield Firefighters Union pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 21A, 2, not to return to open session. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And now I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Gavel's out. Meeting's closed.